So it seems that Meghan has had a new setback on her American Riviera chart crusade. In this case, it's a trademark that was rejected very publicly and in the most embarrassing way possible. Hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And well, this was not unexpected. I am not a lawyer. I just have some knowledge of copyright laws, and it is in many ways not unexpected that this was going to happen. Not only because of the rush, this kind of things need to be done a bit in advance. It is not that you can pay to make them quicker. I wish it was that easy, but at the same time, is that if you don't comply with all the steps and if you don't comply with the requirements for a trademark, then most probably you will be rejected. U.S. Patent Office rules that the brand which sells jams, cutlery, and cookbooks cannot claim ownership of a geographical location. That's the thing, that she was trying to claim the use of the American Riviera, which is another nickname for California, I understand, and that is the issue. And another issue that she ran into, that I don't know if this is another example of Meghan has advisors and people that coach her and tell her what to do, and she just ignores them, because you should have attorneys that assist you in the trademark application. Is that you have this hugely, like this blanket brand for everything, and this is one of the grounds in which it's your brand, your trademark is going to be rejected. What does it mean? That American Riviera chart is not only a definition of the geographical location. You want to claim trademark about something that is like part of the public. Okay, what makes you, what gives you the right to claim the rights over a geographical location's name? Are you the government? Are you licensed by the government? Are you the only one who produces in that area? Are your products have the exclusivity of that area? No, in all cases. So that was one thing, and the other thing is that she wanted to trademark this brand for everything, like for cutlery, for dishware, for jams, for soap, for so many things at once. And that is a problem as well, because you have all these competing brands in all these subsections, that it would have been much better to just use them, to just trademark them one at once. So what does it mean? Like you pick jam, and you make sure that no other jam has a related name about American Riviera Orchard. That would be the first step, right? And make sure you earn the trademark in there, and then move to other products, because it is also part of the application process that you need to either claim the enough authenticity, which in this case, well, she's got a name, she's got a logo, but the name is already used by a geographical location. And at the same time, you have to be really authentic in the sense of what is the product you're going to sell, or what is the service you're going to sell. In this case could be jams. No other jams has this brand, because jams and soaps and scented candles and cookware and cutlery and cookbooks, you're going to have all of them in different categories, and you don't know if in any of those categories there's already a brand that sounds like that. So trying to register your trademark in all those brands at the same time, you're going to fail, because it's like trying to fight a battle in many battlegrounds at the same time. Now you have to focus on one first, and once that one is settled, then you move on to the other ones. And well, the reactions did not wait So Markle is refused a trademark for American Riviera orchard because she's trying to claim ownership of a geographical location. California is known as the American Riviera. Her application was too vague in the sense that she should be applying for a certain product or service first and then expand to the others. She did not cough up the 11,000 fee. Oh, that's being cheap, Meghan. Good grief. The documents weren't even signed, and this is from the Daily Mail. On August 31, the patent office denied her application. And the refusal also included a slew of problems with her filing, including her apparent failure to sign the correct documents. Oh, that's yeah, that sounds like you did not you were not advised enough, or maybe you were advised and you did not listen to your attorneys. Sounds like Meghan, this is from Murky Meg, sounds like Meghan Markle might need to rethink the name of American Riviera orchard due to United States Patent and Trademark Office saying businesses are not allowed to trademark geographic locations, including the nickname of the coastline around her California home, the American Riviera. Registration is refused because the applied for mark is primarily geographically descriptive. What does make what makes your trademark unique? That is the first question that the patent and trademark office is going to ask. Okay, because that's in the sense that it is unique. It is going to be easier to just register it because nobody is using those names or those symbols that you're presenting. It's useful that she presented a unique calligraphy, a font, and a logo, but it's not enough if your brand is so generic or is already taken by a geographical location in this case. And at the same time, if your brand is not that unique, you have to just pick one product or service, as I said. Rest in dull face, if the Meghan effect was as powerful as it's hyped up to be, wouldn't the most powerful and successful people in the world be fighting each other to be CEO of ARO? Wouldn't she have giant powerhouse firms investing in American Riviera orchard, pulling trademark strings? And Meghan Markle struggling to find CEO, we knew this already. After 18 staffers quit, report. Oh my goodness. And another thing I forgot to mention about all this fiasco is that one thing that helps you set or get a trademark approved is for how long have you been using the brand for the product or service that you claim to register it. Because maybe you have been you started to use the brand, all right, without any trademark. That's something that anybody can do. And when you present your case, I want to register this trademark. Okay, how long have you been using the brand? And have you been using the brand for which products? That would help. But again, maybe in these cases where you have a sensitive name, it is a good idea to test that you can actually trademark it. Now, many people are not aware that you can do all the business that you want without trademarking any your logo or your brand. That is really not necessary in the essence of making business with the brand, or doing business with the brand. The problem is that this is how you check that there are no other similar brands, and you're not going to have brand problems in the future because you're using the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to do that work for you, to verify that there are not similar brands. But the other thing is that the only advantage is that if you get in a lawsuit with another brand, or another brand gets in a lawsuit with you, and you have your brand trademarked, or your trademark approved, then it means that when the dust is settled, then the other party will have to pay for your legal bills. That's it. That is pretty much it. Even if you have your brand trademark, any product from China can counterfeit whatever you are doing. That's something that you cannot avoid. But if you sue them, good luck. Then if you win, then they will have to pay for your legal bills. If you're not trademarked and you sue them, and well, it's going to be a bit more difficult. It's going to be a bit more uphill. But again, if you're not using your trademark, then who are you going to sue? And if someone is using your trademark more than you, that's going to be a mess, because Meghan hasn't really been using this trademark yet. Again, this step will be the sane thing to do before you do business at this scale, because you want to be sure that you will not have any problems in the future. So that's how you know that Meghan just rushed this without thinking, because anybody would have advised her, okay, you have to think this through, especially find it quickly that there's no similar brand. I don't know if private agency attorney team can just check this as a private service. Like you don't have to wait for the public assessment for do it in private, but still it's the public assessment of the USPTO that does this. So again, this is all a mess, and this only confirms what we have been talking about so far this month. Like in June 8, I did this live. So you want to know why American Riviera Orchard is going the way of 40 by 40? Well, it has to do with, you guess it, them monies. It's all about money. I've got info so hot that I'll have to put a huge disclaimer on tonight's show, but it will be worth it. It was in June 8. And back then, we already knew that the problem is for anyone who wanted to invest in American Riviera Orchard is, the question was, how long have you been, how to say this, in this business? How long have you been in the business of making jam, in the business of a lifestyle brand, which launching a lifestyle brand has to be everything at once. The brand, the products, the blog, the cooking show, and we know that did not go well. In fact, that really went as bad as you can imagine. But in all the things that are going wrong with the articles, we also have this report: Lemonada hires bankers to oversee potential sale. Again, I don't see this as a Merkel thing, that in that sense, because in many ways you sometimes you just create startups. You create a startup like Lemonada as a podcast contender in a market that is already oversaturated with podcasts. How many podcasts are out there? How many podcasting platforms? How many hours of the same guests in the same topics over and over again? Over 1 hour, when now you can have video summaries of the same topics in 10, 12 minutes. It's not practical. And you can go to X and you just see the clips of the main podcast. It's a very harsh market. Again, someone should have told Harry and Meghan back then, okay, this is going to be hard to, a tough nut to crack. But in this case, Lemonada is selling because I guess that they want, the founders want to move into something else. That's what you do. You build the platform, you build, in this case, a very, let's say, woke platform of your content, and now you want to sell. But the problem is, who wants actually to buy this? And of course, the numbers will tell you, are these good numbers in the sense that people are listening to this podcast? I bet. I'm sure that the advantage that Lemonada has is that they get very niche content. Again, there's demand for this. They went full woke, and that's what their niche is. I think that if you get a niche, that's gonna be an easier sell. The question is if that niche is profitable. That is the big question, and I don't know if if this is really profitable. I don't know, really, whatever. Everything that is a podcast nowadays is a big question mark. No monarchy in America. Applicant must disclaim the words American Riviera, all international classes, and or chart for international classes 29 and 35, because they are primarily geographically descriptive and merely descriptive of applicants' goods and service. Again, this very broad brand category or definition, you are not really tied to the geographic location. There's so many things that you have to what it would be the word making a huge disclaimer. How is your process really tied to the American Riviera? Is everything done in California? Is in regards to all the products and services that you're going to offer, how do they tie to the name, to California? No, this was set to fail from the start. I don't know how to put this lightly. This is not the way to do things. But again, you know that Meghan and Harry are so used to just rush things and not think too much of the consequences, that sadly this is not going to take off. Again, this is nice for memes and other stuff. It is more, it's like those movies that we see of Disney or Star Wars, that it's more of the content that YouTubers make than the content that people actually make. So I don't know, it's a win for us. I think it's a win for us. But Rogues, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And remember to download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video. Much love and bliss.